Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Writer's Mind. I'm your host, CP Valois. Today, just want to talk about story ideas, like what originate, how do we develop them. Um, for me, I'll be honestly, it's something that's unique. We each have our own experiences. We have our own methodologies. We have our own ideas. So, that's one thing. No one's right, no one's wrong in it. It's just how we process it. I know for myself, ideas come pretty easily. I'll see a bird fly overhead and I'll have an idea, like a kid starts to secret an type of thing where, okay, is that bird going to work? He's raising a family. Is the mother bird hurrying back? Is maybe her chick's sick? Chick's late for bird school, whatever. Just different ideas. They come to me like that. Some work out, some not so much, because maybe it's not the right story fit for me. So it's like, I'll happily share those ideas to other people if it didn't work for me, because I'm like, hey, if you want to give it a shot, go for it. It's like, I can't do anything with it. Other times it's something that, just feels right, but we need to, like I said, needs more. I have different ideas and something I can't really figure, I won't be able to figure out. Like I'll be able to, when I hear an idea, I'll know how big a story I can pretty much write out of it. It's just like a little knack I have. But I always need something else. Like we always have that feeling that maybe it's not complete. I think pretty much everyone has that. We like the idea, but is it good enough? Because we have the self-doubt, but it's also a pragmatic thing. Can we do this? I know for myself, this is one trick I love. And because like I said, we always write down our ideas or we share them or whatever. We hope we remember them. So sometimes I'll tell people I'm going to write them down. Other times I won't. And it's a litmus test. See if it stays up in here. I'll sleep on it. Like I said, I have the idea. I'll think a little bit and I'm like, all right, well, I might write it down. I'll tell someone just in case. Because sometimes it's, I'm like, that was a good idea. What was it? It'll be a little hazy. And then I go to bed. And if I wake up next day and it's still in here, I'm like, that was a pretty cool idea. Yeah, I like doing this. I like that idea, this, that. Yeah, I should do that. If it's still in here, if it's still in there and it's passed to me to be written, we're gold. Sometimes, as I said, we need to develop our own ideas fully before we can do something with it. It's like, that's cool. It's happened to me. I know it's others work. That works. And for me, it's like, say, it can go either way. Sometimes it's a simple line. Like I had this idea, what did you do in my head for the longest time? Like that would be such a great final line of the book, one of the final lines. And then, it was my third or fourth book, The Last World, my very first NaNoWriMo project in 2012. And I had the idea, I'm like, yeah, this would be great for a sci-fi type of story. And that was one of the final ones in my book. And the premise of the Last World is, there's a kind of little sci-fi idea I had for a while. And that's where it came in. That line kind of cemented the idea. And then NaNoWriMo gave me the opportunity to write the idea. The premise is simply that the universe is, humanity is spread throughout the universe. All these different worlds, vast technologies, everything else, Star Trek and beyond. But how they colonize planets is they take, their volunteers, specialized in skills and everything, kind of wipe their minds so they only know the basic of what they need to know. They don't know all the grand technology and everything. Then they give them the tools and they put them on a planet and let them evolve over centuries on their own. No interference, they just watch them. And when they get to a certain level, then they welcome into the Republic, Empire, I can't remember which one to use. To be honest, it's been a while, and they welcome into it. Now, what happened is, while exploring, they came across a deadly disease that wiped out all of humanity because the worlds were interconnected, except for this one. And the one person I was watching this, he knew what happened. He wanted to protect Earth. So he puts into a plan to keep us from going into space. How and why? I'm not going to say it. That's spoilers. If you haven't read it, by all means, check it out. Not a book blurb at all. Just saying. But it's like. But that was the whole thing. And at the very end, he coerced people to help him. And at the very end, one of the last sentences, someone, Alfonso says, what did you do? Because it's like, and it just worked out perfectly. I start with a line, it's something you got to know, which I heard so many times from my dad. I didn't want to do something, like I didn't want to learn how to, change a tire or whatever. And he's like, this is something you got to know, kid. So 2 lines, those 2 lines, front and back, come together and help make that. And sometimes it's that simple. Other times, I said, we'll need a story diary. We'll write down the idea. we'll get different ideas. We'll put them in there. What, will this work with that? Will that work with this? You know, we have an idea, like I said, like the bird. We'll have one that just runs with it. Others like that one. I have an idea for, okay, what if like Petri dish? You know, we're just sitting there grow, see how we do. And then we, you know, have a couple lines in mind. All of a sudden, yeah. And again, when I write, I know the opening, the ending, and the climax, and the rest I let it tell itself. You know, it's a fun story. It's a pain sometimes because the muse wants to go off and do other things in the middle of it. You got to rein it in and you have editing and everything else, but it's fun. I mean, it's a process. It's a process unique to each of us, but it's fun. And I'd like to hear what your process are. How do you work with story ideas? How do you come up with ideas? How do you flesh them out? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear them. So always, thank you for your time. Thank you for joining me. And I'll see you next time. Have a great day.